Well, now that Governor Greg Abbott's top legislative priority, education savings accounts, is signed into law, he's turning his attention to another one of his emergency items, bail reform. State lawmakers are considering legislation to keep violent defendants in jail as they await trial. KVUE's Daniel Perot heard from the governor about this issue at an event in Austin earlier today. And Daniel, the governor says this is a matter of life and death.
That's right, Ashley. Governor Abbott described Texas's bail system as broken and deadly. He is accusing the judicial system, particularly in Austin and Travis County and in Houston and Harris County, of protecting criminals over citizens, which he says leads to violent criminals committing violent crimes while they are out on bond. Today, the governor held a roundtable discussion with members of law enforcement, bail reform advocates, and family members of Texans who've been killed by suspects who were out on bond. The Senate has passed bail reform bills, but lawmakers are negotiating to try and get the package of bills through the Texas House. But the governor specifically called out Democrats in the House for not wanting to address the issue. The governor wants the legislation to include automatically denying bail to violent criminals unless there is strong evidence they are not a danger, requiring judges to explain their reasoning if they grant bail for suspects in violent offenses, and allowing prosecutors to appeal a bond decision.
Across the state, there's close to 200 people who have been murdered by someone who had previously been arrested for a murder and let out on easy bail only to murder again. That's insanity, and it has to stop.
Bail in Texas is built into the state constitution, so any changes need to get passage from the legislature and from voters in the form of constitutional amendments. Critics argue the current proposals would deny defendants their constitutional right to due process and just add more burden to the state's already overcrowded jails. Bail reform bills have died in the House over the last couple of sessions. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who leads the Senate, has said that if that happens again, he's not afraid to ask Governor Greg Abbott to have a special session. Asked about that today, Governor Abbott said that he'd make that decision when the time comes. At the Texas Capitol, Daniel Perot, KVUE News.